We all know the fairy tale of the witch who lives in a candy house that would be nice to eat. Indeed, we have seen already what a scare she gave to a child who conjured her up in play. She is kind to children and invites them into her tasty house only because she wants to eat them. She is a cannibal. And for some 600,000 years of human experience, cannibals, it should be borne in mind, and even cannibal mothers were grim and gruesome, ever present realities. Cannibal ogresses appear in the folklores of peoples high and low throughout the world. And on a mythological level, the archetype is even magnified into a universal symbol in such cannibal mother goddesses as the Hindu Kali, the Black One, who is a personification of all consuming time, or in the medieval European figure of the consumer of the wicked dead, the female mouth and belly of hell. That was a quote that I was trying to find earlier in this episode by Joseph Campbell. And the book is called Primitive Mythology, The Masks of God. It's a really good read, and it's a series called The Masks of God. There's primitive mythology, Occidental mythology. I forget the other two. There's two others, but yeah, it's a good series. I did want to start out reading Hansel and Gretel, and I think that is worth noting that this will be sped up a bit because I like to take my time. But anyways, Hansel and Gretel, we have discussed, is a basic story about a candy house witch who lures children into her oven, and she gets, in two different versions, the kids get eaten or the witch get baked alive. And I don't know. We're about to read and find out what the Grimm's version is. This is the Grimm's fairy tale version in the edition translated with an introduction by Jack Zipes, and it is a pretty nice complete fairy tales of the Brothers Grimm collection, published by Pantheon, which is kind of a neat publisher in my opinion. But let's get right on to it. Hansel and Gretel. A poor woodcutter lived with his wife and his two children on the edge of a large forest. The boy was called Hansel and the girl was called Gretel. The woodcutter did not have much food around the house, and when a great famine devastated their entire country, he could no longer provide enough for his family's daily meals. One night, as he was lying in bed and thinking about his worries, he began tossing and turning. Then he sighed and said to his wife, "What's to become of us? How can we feed our poor children when we don't even have enough for ourselves?" "I'll tell you what," answered his wife. "Early tomorrow morning we'll take the children out into the forest where it's most dense. We'll build a fire and give them each a piece of bread. Then we'll go about our work and leave them alone. They won't find their way back home and we'll be rid of them." "No, wife," said the man. "I won't do this. I don't have the heart to leave my children in the forest. The wild beasts would soon come and tear them apart." "Oh, you fool," she said. "Then all four of us will have to starve to death. You better start planting the boards for our coffins." She continued to harp on this until he finally agreed to do what she suggested. "But still, I feel sorry for the poor children," he said. The two children had not been able to fall asleep that night either. Their hunger kept them awake, and when they heard what their stepmother said to their father, Gretel wept bitter tears and said to Hansel, "Now it's all over for us." "Be quiet, Gretel," Hansel said. "Don't get upset. I'll soon find a way to help us." When their parents had fallen asleep, Hansel put on his little jacket, opened the bottom half of the door, and crept outside. The moon was shining very brightly, and the white pebbles glittered in front of the house like pure silver coins. Hansel stooped down to the ground and stuffed his pocket with as many pebbles as he could fit in. Then he went back and said to Gretel, "Don't worry, my dear little sister. Just sleep in peace. God will not forsake us." And he lay down again in his bed. At dawn, even before the sun began to rise, the woman came and woke the two children. "Get up, you lazy bones. We're going into the forest to fetch some wood." Then she gave each of them a piece of bread and said, "Now you have something for your Monday meal, but don't eat it before then because you're not getting anything else." Gretel put the bread under her apron because Hansel had the pebbles in his pocket. Then they all set out together towards the forest. After they walked a while, Hansel stopped and looked back at the horse. He did this time and again until his father said, "Hansel, what are you looking at there? Why are you dawdling? Pay attention and don't forget how to use your legs." "Oh, father," said Hansel, "I'm looking at my little white cat that's sitting up there on the roof of the house and wants to say goodbye to me." "You fool," the mother said. "That's not a cat. It's the morning sun shining on the chimney." But Hansel had not been looking at the cat. Instead, he had been taking the shiny pebbles from his pocket, constantly dropping them on the ground. When they reached the middle of the forest, the father said, "Children, I want you to gather some wood. I'm going to make a fire so you won't get cold." Hansel and Gretel gathered together some brushwood and built quite a nice little pile. The brushwood was soon kindled, and when the fire was ablaze, the woman said, "Now, children, lie down by the fire and rest yourselves. We're going to the forest to chop wood. When we're finished, we'll come back and get you." I'm just going to stop you right there. That sounds like complete bullshit, right? I mean, here's these kids just, overhearing all this. I know they're about to get ditched. And Hansel's got some plan with some fucking pebbles. Okay. I want to sit up and read the rest of this. Now, I recommend you get yourself a copy of Grimm's Fairy Tales if you are a big fan of spooky literature. That is one really good place to start. Now, I didn't really finish this story because I'm trying to keep a good lax vibe about this podcast. Yeah, it's a very long story, and it's not a bad translation, but it's not necessarily easily readable, out loudable translation. So yeah, I will say that discussion segments and exhibit segments will be more well thought out. All the episodes in general will be more well thought out. But yeah, Hansel and Gretel go out in the woods, find some witches. I'm gonna leave off with some nice tracks here, just some instrumentals, just a good minute to reflect on the silly discussion we had, the silly reading that we did, and the silly analysis, pseudo-analysis of the fear of the unknown. I feel like future episodes will still have fear of the unknown in the episode title, because I feel like this first season is definitely going to explore the fear of the unknown. In fact, the next episode that we do this season is going to be The Thing at the Top of the Stairs by Ray Bradbury. It's going to be a Fear of the Unknown episode. It'll be our episode 2. I'm going to ask the guys what scares them. What is scary to them. how much of that fear is fear of the unknown, and how much of it is self-preservation. I'll also ask them irrational fears, like what are some things you're scared of that aren't really like normal to be scared of. Like, for example, I'm scared of someone looking through my bedroom window as I'm sleeping. Even though I had blackout curtains, it's still something I think about. When I was a kid, I would see faces in the window. There's all kinds of fears that we have that aren't necessarily realistic fears. Um, and it's kind of interesting to explore those things. But yeah, next episode, I like to call Ray Bradbury the favorite uncle of Halloween, at least for me. He is a Halloween head, just like myself. And I feel like Bradbury is a good place to start at after the Grimm's fairy tales. Just because this story is a little less antiquated than Hansel and Gretel. A little less gruesome, but also like it's just classic macabre literature. And it's a great story for the fear of the unknown, and I'll leave it at that. But I hope you enjoyed the little snippet of Hansel and Gretel. I didn't really cover the witch because we all remember the witch, candy house, and breadcrumbs. We don't remember the pebbles that Hansel leaves behind to get back home to trick his parents. Like lots of different parts of that story. There's alternate versions of Hansel and Gretel where there's a little brother, little sister is another tale. But yeah, get yourself a copy. It's time for Jackie to go to bed. It's time. Get yourself a copy of Grimm's Fairy Tales. And if you know what's good for you, you will buy everything by Ray Bradbury. But I won't fault you if you just buy The October Country. Or Dark Carnival, which recently got released. It's pretty much an extended version of The October Country. Yeah. Go buy some books and read them. Enjoy these tracks by Grant Howard.